Hi guys, welcome to Frickin' Jeep. My name's John and still on light duty but feeling better. And today was the first day I woke up and almost felt like a half a human being. Don't want to get much more than half though, then nobody would recognize me. Well, I spent the last couple hours looking for stuff and I finally found what I was looking for, which really got me worried. As you guys know, I'm the biggest mess on YouTube. That's one of my, I have a lot of first on YouTube or best on YouTube. Biggest mess, most unorganized, most OSHA violations in a single video. I just have all sorts of good stuff on YouTube. I hope you liked the party. We had a great time at the party last night. The fire's still going and I hear we're kind of running it over because we got a lot of leftover food. So the grandkids are coming over again and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be another fun night. But what inspired me to do this movie and what it's about is pressure gauges. And what made me think about this was I was watching Jack. If you don't know Jack, he's a heck of a nice guy up at oh man, Jack, I'll think of it later. Jack Log Cabin Firewood, good guy, go up and watch him. Anyhow, he had a pressure gauge go bad on one of his, or maybe both of his wood splitters. So if you have a wood splitter out there that has a pressure gauge on it, you might be interested in this, and you might not. If you are, you are. If you're not, you're not. Well, I'm going to show you what's going on. His pressure gauge was leaking oil. Okay, and he had a glycerin-filled pressure gauge, which I don't have one here, but I'm going to take you off the stand and show you one over there, and we're going to show you some pressure gauges. So pressure gauge filled, a lot of pressure gauges where the needle real fast have glycerin. They're glycerin filled. Okay, and there's a little cap here at the top that I guess that's how they fill it, and you can see the little bubble line there. This is not hydraulic oil in there, it's glycerin, and the hydraulic oil and the glycerin should never come in contact with other. But there's a tube inside, I forgot to bring my book out, that is called I don't know what it's called. Let me go in and get the book. Well, I'll take you with me. As you can see, I'm a mess. I meant to bring that out, but you know me, I'm always prepared for, you know, I probably win the thing for the least prepared person on YouTube. This is what I'm going to bring it out where there's more light, and I'll let you read it, but I'll give you the basics of it. Anybody know what that is? I bet nobody out there knows what that is. Yeah, Mac might know what that is. Old-time farmers know what that is. I don't know if Mac was actually a farmer. Anyhow, I didn't want to get this book particularly dirty, but I guess that's my middle name too. Alright, what we're looking for, this is called a Bourdon tube. I'm not sure. You guys figure out what it is. And basically down here, a French scientist named whatever that is, was coiling up some copper tubing, okay, and gotten flattened by accident. So to fill it back out, he put water in it and hydraulic pressured it and found that it straightened out. So in this tube here, as it gets pressure, it straightens out and it runs these little gears down here. So I'm going to take a few of these gauges apart, let you see what they are. They are junk gauges. Now the old time gauges had, you can see, I don't know if you can see the beveled glass. Okay, this is steam probably. Let's see, I don't know. You can see the beveled glass. I just didn't polish the brass. These come off some of my steam engines. If you go to some of the past videos, you'll see these in action actually. Not this one here. This one always stayed in the basement. That's a pretty gauge, 1889. I don't see a date on that one. I don't see a date on that one. These both are American gauges. This one here is Webster or something like that, made in New Jersey. Patented in 1889. Anyhow, that's back when they made good gauges and fancy. Now they're all made with junk plastic and stuff like that. I'm going to zoom this in a little bit and try to, you know, I think I'm going to take you over here so I can show you, bring it out to you and get a little closer. We're going to show you what it takes. Most people, a lot of people here know about these gauges and stuff, and they come in different sizes. Gauges come in all different sizes, but they all have that in there. This is a big gauge I used to use on irrigation, which you can kind of see the size of it. It's probably, and then here's another gauge that I use on my model steam engines. And there's a flashlight I used because I was looking for everything. And here's a hammer when I was going to hit myself in the head for losing everything. Here's another old gauge. This is 1951 here. And I don't know if you can catch the bevel glass. You can see the crescent moon on there, which was a lot fancier than what they do now. Here's why I know it's 51, because it's got 51 written on it. But here's that tube. This one here I already took apart, was already apart. And I save these as the gauges go bad, because the gauges go bad because this when it gets pressure, it straightens out, and you can see this little thing in here runs that dial on the inside. It might not run this one. Yeah, there it goes. But as they move, they go bad. Now, on this pressure gauge, I wasn't showing you very good, was I? Let me move back. That's the tube, and that's in every one of them. Now, the glycerin is all around this. But if this is pretty thin stuff, okay? And it's soldered on down here. If that solder lets loose, okay, or something like that, then the hydraulic fluid can leak into your system and blow that little cap off, and you could have a constant leak. So that's basically what I'm kind of showing you. When we put in gauges, the last I don't know if you knew, the last few years of my working life, I was a boiler mechanic. I had a grade 2 station engineer's license. And when we put in gauges, here's another Bourdon tube. I don't know if, yeah, see, you can, and they get out of whack, and you can there went all the way around. You can hear it stripping on those gears. I guess if it hit fast, if you open a valve real fast, a valve to a system real fast, you could maybe spin it past those gears. I save them because of, I save brass and stuff, and they're all about the same. This one here is stainless. It's probably still good. I'm hoping that you can see it, but plastic. This one here came off my 56 Persh fire truck, but I got it for another reason. But I don't know if you guys can see the bevel glass on there. It's got bevel glass. It's pretty, and it's steel, and it's heavy. Here's another masterpiece here. Yeah, and they all have that in there. This one probably doesn't work. Yeah, it's still, that one might be good. One of them I wanted to show you here. Okay, now when we came to replace this for doing the maintenance, you can see the discoloration here. So you know that tube has let loose inside, and can you see where it crinkled up right there? Don't ask me why it did that or how it did that. No idea. But you can see where this water, and if you're in a hydraulic system, that'd be oil, be coming down and leaking. So, after kicking the camera stand, what I'm recommending to you guys, you don't need that pressure gauge to split wood. Okay? You don't need that pressure gauge to split wood. That's just for test purposes or for knowledge in diagnosing a problem. So what I recommend is there's all sorts of different cutoffs. What we put on ours was little gate valve, or actually it's a needle valve, and shut that gauge off. And then the other thing was, if you could shut that gauge off, okay, if it started leaking, you could shut that gauge off and you could keep going. So we put these on all the gauges once we started putting them in. Daggone, this camera stand, I don't like it. Here's another one that they used to use on a lot of steam boilers, which was this kind of old time, and it just turned. If you could turn it, I can't turn it. Quarter turn. Now you can see one. You can see one on this old gauge, on this old steam gauge over here. See how you had one on there, and had one on there. And so if you were running and that steam blew out, you could lose the solder in the back. That's why you have this on there. It would create a trap so the steam couldn't get up there and melt that solder. I guess it was a real low temperature solder. Anyhow, so they have all sorts of little valves, and I recommend anybody out there with a wood splitter that's got a valve in it, even though I don't do it on those two lickety log splitters I got. These valves here, this, like I said, came off my fire truck, okay, and they would have to drain drain of the fire trucks when they came back after fire. So this is where the pressure came in. You close that off and then you open this up, and that would drain the water out of there. But these are little needle valves also, and you can see the arrow, so it's supposed to go that way, so it valves off right. That's basically what I'm telling you. I'd recommend, you know, Jack and the other people get a little valve. These are, I don't know, you could probably pick up one of these for $3,000 or $4,000 now. Who knows what they cost? But that's basically all. I'm giving you guys a little bit of inside. If you want to read about that tube and the inventor of it, I'll put this here, and you can just kind of, I guess, read it at your leisure. Slow down. He was making a still. The old guy back in 1849 was making a still. Yeah, still. And it's just, okay, there it shows. It should say, call that a siphon somewhere. Pressure gauge to the boiler. Pigtail, maybe. Okay, siphon. Okay, that's what we used to call it. And this is just a, well, that one's a whistle. I don't remember half this stuff anymore. There's a pressure gauge face. And what this would do, this is, I guess, a U-type siphon to keep any steam from getting into the gauge. Because they said it would melt the solder, but it seems to me it shouldn't. But some of that steam got pretty high. That was my book way back a long time ago. Anyhow, I hope you found this informative. I hope I didn't leave anything out, but I'm sure I did, because I usually do. That's another category I went on YouTube, leaving half the stuff I wanted to say out. So I showed you the Bourdon tube. I showed you where they're soldered in, okay? And if this lets loose in any way, and I guess it's just crimped there, then the two fluids can mix, the glycerin and stuff, and that could cause that little, I guess, stopper to pop out of the top of your gauge, and then it could keep leaking. And if you do put, and I told you, if you put a little valve in there of some sort, then you could valve it off and keep going. And you really don't need to know your pressure. If you're not paying attention to your pressure, valve it off, because the way those needles go on hydraulics, they break off quite frequently. These needles drop off. I've had that one on, but I don't run to real high pressure. I don't want to runs up to 1,000 pounds, so it doesn't stroke too much. Another thing on gauges, if you want to buy a gauge for your, wood splitter or anything, gauges are supposed to have their closest tolerance or closest accuracy midway in there. So if this is a 60 pound, if you want a 30 pound reading to be the most accurate, get a 60 pound gauge, if that makes sense. So, you know, this one here, well, 60-30, okay? This one here would be more accurate around 100, so that's generally why they put them up. So you could just come up, okay, 60, half of it's at the top, even though this is 270 degrees, I think. That's because that's your most accurate range. So this gauge you'd be getting for a 80 pound running pressure, if that makes any sense. What else is there? I don't know. I'll probably think of something after I'm left. Look at that. Another look at the itty bitty gauge. Those are for my steam engines, which you've probably seen them in the past. I've had a show on them. All right, do me a favor. Hit the like button and subscribe button. And if this helped you out, or if you got anything to add to this, leave it in the comments. Or if I screwed up in any way, I probably got the most screw ups on YouTube too, because I do good at screwing up. I'm a fine example of a bad example, something like that. Anyhow, do me a favor, hit the like button and subscribe button, and I'm gonna go fire the fire back up, because we're having another bonfire tonight, and I think we're gonna do marshmallows tonight. So see ya. Thanks for stopping in. Bye. Off button here. Hi guys, this is just a little bit more of the craziness that goes on around here. Look at that, there's a butterfly on the butterfly bush. Looks like there's a spot on the camera too. I'm gonna see. Well, let me look at it. I don't see anything in that way. Yeah, there's something on that camera. Oh well, you're getting it, because that's what you get. Check the butterfly out. Where did he go? There he is. Yeah, that's a tiger swallowtail. Anyhow, the wife's got these, I think that's a potato plant, and I don't know what that is, but the bottom half of that leaf got eaten off, and all the potato plant got eaten off. You can maybe see there's some stems there. So I was in charge of putting a trap out here, and as you can see, the trap has something in it. Now, we had the party last night, and this is the after of the party. Look what got in the cage. Can you see that leg down there? Can you see that leg? It's a party alligator. Kids are playing fun on me. That alligator has been around here for probably better than 30 years. I bought it in an auction. All of its toes are gone and stuff like that, but it has had pounds and pounds of sidewalk chalk. That alligator has been so many different colors, it's been unbelievable. And now the grandkids have been working on it for years, and somehow it showed up here last night at the birthday party. So there's a birthday party alligator, or partying alligator. Anyhow, that's just some of the craziness that goes around here. Oh, I'll show you something else. Something's eating her geraniums too, but we don't know what it is. There's so many animals and bugs. There's an old creamery thing. I made this out of some of that scrap that I had, and I just put a third fin on it. 2 didn't make it go around too much. 3 seems to make it go around. And if you look at it, when it goes one way, it winds up. Now it's actually unwinding, as a matter of fact. And these were something that I saved off an old antenna that was here, oh, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years ago. I don't know. Whenever the internet came, then the antenna came down. So, okay, now it's going in the right direction. So it winds up and then unwinds, and winds up, then unwinds, and winds up and unwinds. And I thought it would do that. If you sit back, it looks like it's going up. If you spin it, it looks like it goes up and then goes down, down, and up. That's some of the craziness. And I was hoping it would. Here's one of those little signs that I make. That thing flickers and spins and flickers and spins all day long with real lightweight, because that's just real lightweight aluminum. See, it's starting to really get in there now, and there's hardly any wind. There's our banana plant. Haven't gotten any bananas yet this year. Probably will though. Anyhow, and the bonfire is still out there smoking away. You can see the amount of wood we went through. Not really as much as we thought. We kept the fire real low going in, because I thought we were going to do s'mores afterwards, and you can't have a monster fire and try to toast marshmallows unless you have a 20-foot stick. So we let it go low, and then later on we let it build up a little bit. It's got a nice aroma of oak and hickory, I think, in there. I think there might be a hickory in there. It smells pretty hickory-y. I think that's what the round pieces in that box are from. Anyhow, still on light duty. I haven't figured out what I'm going to get into next. I guess I'm going to get into finding what's on the cameras on the back of the screen, not on the front of the screen. That's a good thing. All right, we'll see you later now. Bye-bye. Well, this just kind of show you pressure gauges come in all sizes, but they all have that same tube in them. That little quick coupler there is 2 inches, so that's probably about a 10-inch gauge up there. Now I come down here just to get that, and I noticed my cap has come off of its block and tackle. The rope is disappeared. I don't know whether a bird came in here and ate it or what, or a mouse or a chipmunk or a squirrel. Who knows? Didn't eat any of the others. Yeah, there's a little bit of gnawing on that one there. This is how I kept my cap up for a long time. Block and tackle. I guess I got to fix this. There's always something to do here. It might get tweaked that way if it sits there too much longer. It's been that way a couple days. You can see all the animal tracks on top of it though. See all the scratch marks? I'd say a squirrel probably ate a hole in it. Now times you got to really watch out for Bees, you got to really keep an eye on. There's bees everywhere. All right, I just wanted to show you that pressure gauge. Getting carried away here. Bye.